Was Dee Dee Blanchard's death a ritual sacrifice?
So if you're like me, the Gypsy Rose Blanchard case has never sat right with you for many reasons. And one reason it hasn't sat right with me personally is because there seems to be an underlying factor that everyone is missing. And this is something that has literally been weighing so heavy on me because, like, I understand that she was a victim of Munchausen by proxy and all these other factors. But one thing that just seems to gravitate towards me is the overall darkness of the entire thing. If you are someone who gets scared easily by that is unseen, then I suggest you scroll before I start saying what I'm about to say. What Nick and Gypsy did was very demonic, and it was actually a ritual sacrifice. And before you think what you're gonna think, just give me a chance to explain. So first things first, Nick and Gypsy both said that they had multiple personalities, and in one specific conversation, Nick was said to have more than 3 different personalities, and one of those personalities was responsible for killing Dee Dee Blanchard. And Gypsy said that she made up personalities to coincide with Nick's personalities just to go along with him. I'm not talking about the Lifetime movie shit. I'm talking about the real court documents that each person gave a testimony on. And one of the personalities that was said to have been used to kill Dee Dee Blanchard was Victor. Now, Victor was this alternate personality of one of the multiple that Nick was said to have, and this is who he said was at the forefront at the time of killing Dee Dee Blanchard. But what really gets me is his specific words to what was supposed to happen when it came to unaliving this woman. This is why I believe there is so much darkness in this case that no one is talking about, to the point where this man had to be possessed by a demon and he was actually acting out a ritual, and Gypsy Rose had a part in it as well. As you can see, she is reaping the rewards. Nick, or Victor, his alter ego, was present when discussing the unaliving of Dee Dee Blanchard, and Gypsy Rose said that there were specific things that he wanted to do, as well as specific instructions and instruments. When Gypsy was talking to Nick, or his alter ego Victor, he came up with the idea to use a knife and said that he would have to do it his way. Nick, or Victor, told Ruby, which is the alter ego of Gypsy, that it would have to be done Victor's way by using a knife and then graping the mother after. Ruby, or Gypsy Rose's alternate personality, said that she would not allow her mother to get graped after Victor unalived her. So Victor then responded with this. Victor, or Nick, says it has to be done Victor's way or no way. Either I'm going to grape her or I'm going to grape you after I unalive Dee Dee Blanchard. To which Gypsy, or Ruby, responded, yes, you can do that to me, but not her. Gypsy even goes on camera to say that she didn't even recognize Nick when he carried out the act, but something tells me that she participated, but we don't know. And Nick, or Victor, also said that they only stabbed Dee Dee Blanchard a certain amount of times, and they don't know where the other stab wounds came from. A very blatant side effect of demonic possession is not remembering or amnesia when it comes to doing something sinister, because you are acting out something from a different place or under demonic possession. And Victor even said that this person inside of him, who he was a 500-year-old vampire. I am going to do a part 2 on this video because I have so much substantial evidence that Nick in fact was possessed by this deity named Victor, who actually caused and did the implicit murder, which he said himself. And this is why I think he should have gotten a different sentence or even reevaluated by other people, other than just throwing him on the spectrum of autism and not seeing the clear signs of something very, very dark. Gypsy was possessed by her alter egos, Ruby, Belle, and Candy, and this is why we see her getting so much popularity, because there was a ritualistic sacrifice done that night on Dee Dee Blanchard that no one even knows about. And if it makes sense to you, then you are supposed to be here, and if it doesn't, oh well, my opinion. And to be clear, I am talking on a spiritual level, so this has nothing to do with the actual feelings and emotions that Gypsy must have been feeling, because if you are under demonic possession, you don't know what you're doing. So this is not to excuse what Dee Dee Blanchard did. All I'm saying is that it looks a little suspicious.
I don't know if you've seen anything about that bizarre case of Gypsy Rose Blanchard having her online boyfriend, guy named Nick Gottajohn, kill her mother, Dee Dee, back, I don't know, around 10 years ago. I don't know how you could not see it. It's all over the place. Social media, regular media, big thing on Google, #1 search. But anyway, the interesting aspect to me was this idea of multiple personalities that this Nick fella had. A couple personalities. One was Nick, good side, and the other one, he told Gypsy, was a vampire, 500-year-old vampire that liked to kill. And it was that vampiric type personality that I guess committed this homicide, allegedly. Well, when people talk about multiple personality, I have to look closer and wonder if it's evil, because a lot of times it seems more like cases of possession. I've seen it myself as a reporter one time, a really bizarre case. And it seemed like there was a lot of evil, a lot of possession involved in this case. I mean, you look at, first of all, Dee Dee, the mother. She was medically manipulating her daughter, making her pretend to have all these illnesses so they could collect funds from the government and so forth. Well, her mother seemed kind of nutty, something wrong there, something really askance. And it was even rumored that she secretly killed her mother when her mother was dying, kind of pushed her over the edge medically. I don't know about that. But we know this was a brutal case of stabbings, multiple stabbings that this Nick did at the behest of the daughter, Gypsy. Wanted to get out of this controlling situation. Her mother was basically keeping her hostage, controlling her totally. Well, Nick had the two personalities, and also it seems that Gypsy was playing around or pretending to have multiple personalities also, I guess pretending. There was Gypsy, there was one named Rose, a mature one. There was one named Bessie that tended to be kind of romantic. There was one named Kitty, childish, and then there was Candy, kind of into sexy, and there was Ruby, the evil one in her. And pretending anyway. Psychiatrists try to call this dissociative identity disorder, DID. And it doesn't really seem like Gypsy had it. She was pretending, but maybe this Nick certainly does. And whatever, there was a lot of possession. It was coming down the family line. Look what came from her mother, Emma, down to this Dee Dee, who was really wacky, evil. And then to her daughter, and then we look at this Nick who did the evil killing. Evil was all over the place in this. Possession was all over the place in this. The mother, Dee Dee, seemed possessed. She seemed beyond just mentally ill. Same probably up the family tree. Things repeat. So she allegedly killed her mother, Dee Dee did, and then Dee Dee gets killed by the boyfriend of her daughter, Gypsy. But anyway, the last personality that Gypsy claimed or pretended to have is especially germane to this conversation. She called that one, which was supposedly half vampire, she called that one Demona, for demon.
Gypsy Rose claims that her mother had put a voodoo hex on her. On January 9th, the New York Post released an article in regards to this voodoo hex, some takeaways from her story, and of course the Lifetime 3-night event about her life, the story, and interviews. I mean, at this point, can we say that there's any surprise that there are demons involved with this situation? When you do voodoo, you are invoking demons, and demons have powers. They have forces, very sinister, very nefarious. We know from Ephesians 6:12 that we don't wrestle against flesh and blood, but instead we wrestle against the principalities, the authorities, the darkness, and the cosmic powers in the heavenly places. So according to Gypsy Rose, she recalled that she first started to rebel against Dee Dee when she met a man named Dan at a sci-fi pop culture convention in 2011. Soon, she tried running away from home to be with him. It's as though she met this guy and she tried to run away with him, and her mom chained her to a bed and took a picture of her and the guy Dan and a cow tongue and put it in a mason jar with some menstrual blood and buried it outside in the yard. We know there's a spiritual battle going on. We know that demons prowl around seeking to whom they may devour. We know that you really are a sitting duck without Jesus Christ because you don't have the shield of faith, right? So we know that there were demonic forces at hand for many years in this story, in this situation. And it just adds and escalates the more you go down that rabbit hole, the more you serve those devils. After burying this mason jar, allegedly, her mother said, "You will never find love, you will never be happy." So Gypsy Rose says, "I think that it's true. I just think it's true because every time I get close to someone, they leave me." Guys, we've got to pray for her. I pray that she would come to saving faith. I don't know anything about where she stands with the Lord, but I would pray that she comes to saving faith in Jesus Christ. We have to pray for souls to come to the Lord, guys. It doesn't matter what our works are. It doesn't matter what we've done. That neither exempts you from heaven or earns your way into heaven. It's only through Jesus Christ that we get to heaven. So we need to pray for her. And I just want to leave you with this. We see the consequences of serving demons. Guys, you saw the consequences in this story. Don't invite them in. Don't open doors to demons in your life. Let me know what you think about this story.
You know, I've been thinking about this and letting it marinate, but you definitely have a point. Now, I'm not saying that she didn't go through something completely horrible, but I do not think that she is completely innocent. If you haven't noticed by now, people are starting not to like Gypsy at all. In fact, her mask is coming off and she's getting revealed. They're starting to see her for who she really is. She says her mom taught her to be a great liar and to manipulate. She learned from the best.
Well, you know, can't bring me down. I'm on a high right now. I'm living my best life, and y'all can't take that from me.
And the D is
fire.
Just ignore my face. But when you go into detail, she explained what her mom did with that voodoo jar. Every detail, every step. She got a cow tongue. She printed out pictures. She got my period blood. So it makes me wonder, did your mom do it or did you? And now we're getting word that she wants to work with Kim Kardashian. She wants to meet Taylor Swift. She's getting all this glamour. People are treating her like she is a straight celebrity. They cannot stop talking about her, good or bad. Still talking about her mom and the situation that happened. And this brings you back to the cow tongue. Cow tongues are used to keep people's mouths shut or to keep it open. And it's definitely open for her. So, did your mom do that voodoo spell? Or were we just manipulated into thinking your mom did it and you did it? It is reaping season. And from what I can see, the spirits are not done yet. Something is about to happen. I'm just waiting for the shade room to post it. When her man arrived to her house to basically grill her mom, she knew exactly what to do. She told him to put on gloves. She had the gloves ready. Like, she's the reason why there weren't any fingerprints in the house. She's a lot smarter than many of you think. So I'm just going to let this marinate and we're going to see. All of my opinions.
So Dee Dee was putting spells on Gypsy. That's wild, but it's not so far out of the bounds of what I would think. Dee Dee had this wizard that was tattooed on her leg, It was on her ankle, and she would play with magic, you know. When I was a kid, I seen Dee Dee playing with the Ouija board and spells and playing people over to get what she wanted, maybe mind control. And controlling these doctors and controlling this whole world around her like a puppeteer was probably very satisfying to her.
It's almost a scene out of Carrie. Now, Dee Dee is threatening her daughter and acting in bizarre, wicked fashion. And certainly Gypsy could be haunted by these seeming like spells for years.
At this point, there was a significant part of our relationship that I believe broke. I'm like, well, I could just wait till she passes away naturally, but I didn't know how long that was going to be. And she could have lived to be 70 years old, and by that time I would be too old to do the things that I would want, like have children and have a life of my own. So I really started to weigh out the pros and the cons and realizing that I needed to get out of this situation now.
Date of Dee Dee's mother's death. Date of Dee Dee's death. Same date. From crime scene photos. Is this a voodoo doll on Gypsy's bed? Look at Gypsy's necklace. Wiccan pentagram. In modern times, the pentagram is most often associated with neo-pagan religions, especially Wicca. It is often depicted enclosed in a circle, a symbol known as a pentacle. In these traditions, the 5 points often represent the 5 elements of air, fire, water, earth, and spirit.
Nicholas stabbed her 4 times. They said Dee Dee was stabbed 17 times. Who else could have done it? Because everything that's done in the dark is always going to come to light. He claimed that she was in the bathroom with her hands over her ears while the stabbing was going on. But he said he only stabbed her 4 times. And they're saying that Dee Dee was stabbed 17 times. Y'all can continue to praise this shit if you want to, but the truth is going to come out. You can't throw stones and hide your hands and think that the truth is never going to be revealed, because it's always going to be revealed.